We're more than halfway through day one here of the QPL Stage 1 finals, and hot off of the presses from the Dramas versus Coolers game on Stream B, where Cooler went down 2-1, returning our 40 Lions and Lethal for our last challengers matchup of the day, and I guess of the weekend. This one will determine who will stay in the QPL or who will be joining the QPL and who will unfortunately be stopping their journey here. I'm DJ Wheat, joined by 40 Lions and Lethal. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I know you just came off of a pretty exciting matchup, but I understand you're pretty excited for this one too.
Dude, that last match got my heart pumping. It's been pumping all day, and the coffee doesn't help, but looking forward to this one. Last relegation match of the day, as you said, Siblicious versus ZenAku. This is interesting to me because Sib has played ZenAku in the same exact scenario last stage, trying to get back in, and ZenAku closed the door on him and said, no, thank you. So here it goes. We're running it back.
Yeah, that last match was just absurd. It was just ridiculous. For anyone who didn't see it, I'd highly recommend watching it. You know, Cooler was playing out of his mind, but Dramas, we said it before, I said it earlier in that series as well. The last couple of weeks, he's been playing really well, and he's continued to show it even over the last week. So, you know, congrats to him. Very, very difficult to take down the Titan, you know, such as Cooler. And the fact that now he's going into the next round against Cypher now, and that's, yeah, just absolutely crazy. But that's all said and done now.
Yeah, I'm also not sure I'm totally convinced that Strog versus Keel on that map is the way to go. We've seen it now twice where Keel has just put their flag down and said, this is my map. I'm equipped for this one. It was nasty. But let's talk about this matchup. Sib coming from the challengers in the Americas, and I don't know all that much about Sib. Do you remember, right, seeing the match that you were talking about earlier? But I'm curious, right? It's been a while since we've seen him, almost an entire stage, and we could take a look at Sib's results leading up through challengers. But who could tell us a little bit more about Sib?
He's been here before. I mean, he's been in the Quake Pro League before. He's played at this level before. He had a bit of a drop-off, again, struggling to get through challengers and make his way back here. Last time we saw him knocking on the doors, ZenAku said no, it was a close set. I'm looking forward to the set again because I think it's going to be another close one. But this is not out of the realm of possibilities for Sib to kind of, I wouldn't even call it an upset, but to take this over ZenAku and earn a place back in the Quake Pro League, in my opinion.
Was it ZenAku who actually beat Sib to get into the Pro League? I can't remember. I might actually be mistaken. I'll have to double check at some point. But the fact that if that's true and Sib then takes it back, you know, that's absolute madness. But Sib has always been a very, very good player. We still remember him back in the day from some of his best map choices and like what he likes to do. And he won the Challenger League quite comfortably. He had a little bit of trouble against Supreme, against Chance in the finals. Again, it was quite comfortable. I think on Deep Embrace it was very comfortable. The first map was quite close, but apart from that, Sib just doing Sib things, and I think he's one of the best players from the Challenger League area to actually try and make it back into the Pro League again. But ZenAku, we have to see, he's been a bit unsure of himself. He looked very good in the stage before, but this stage it's had his ups and downs. His styles have been completely different in comparison to what we've seen. Sometimes he's over aggressive and he likes to try and push in and likes to be unpredictable. Sometimes he's very methodical and calculated and isn't really too sure when to be a counter aggressive. It's a little bit weird, but I'm hoping that ZenAku's managed to fix all that over the last couple of weeks, because I believe he's actually training with Avec around Avex right now, boot camping.
Well, I mean,
boot camping.
Based off of everything that you said, it sounds like it should be a exciting matchup. So let's take a look at ZenAku's record here for stage 1, 13 weeks going through, and a couple wins. A great win versus Dewey, 2-1, and Nasfa, but everything else, unfortunately, maybe took a map but couldn't take the series. And this will be a best of 5. This is the last best of 5. Everything after this will be best of 3 until we make it to the finals day. But we can take a look at the picks and bans, because that will give us a little bit more insight into what could go down here between these two players. So 40, I'm going to put you on the spot as soon as we get a chance to see what the picks and bans are for maps and champions, and we will see if you guys can determine who will take this matchup.
Sure, let's take a look. We got Ruins, Deep Embrace, Tower of Koth, Awoken and Blood Covenant, Strog versus Keel. That seems to be the matchup, boys. And then we got Clutch versus Scale. And actually what surprises me is ZenAku's on the Clutch. Sib has played Clutch a lot. So that's very interesting. We got Visor versus Ranger on Tower of Koth. That should be a good matchup. Galena versus BJ on Awoken. And Nyx versus Aizen on Blood Covenant. I don't know about these picks on ZenAku's end. I think it might favor Sib a little bit, but it's going to come down to execution. ZenAku, I mean, we looked at his record. Let's not sugarcoat it. He's in relegation for a reason, but I feel like his ceiling is a lot higher than what he's been playing. We saw him put up maps on players, and the other maps that he'd lost the set to, I feel like were close. He has performances that, you know, give him a huge kind of ego boost, at least a lot of confidence going away, being I played really well. For instance, he played Rafa and he was extremely close on Corrupted Keep for the first, I say, 7 or 8 minutes, and then Rafa just ran off and did Rafa things. So I think ZenAku has a good base and foundation to kind of feel like, okay, I can do this. I've played Sib before. He has the knowledge of how Sib likes to play. I think it's going to be really close, and I think this is going to be one of those ones that at least goes to 4, if not 5 maps. But predictions, I curse everyone I predict, so I'm tired of it. I just don't want to do. I don't want to do that to people
Let's
anymore.
put it all on lethal then, Cody.
Yeah,
put
the
it all
mustache
on
is
lethal.
cursed and needs to go. So.
I don't mind saying it this time.
Right.
I think ZenAku could actually take this 3-1 or 3-2. I feel like the maps just heavily favour him. The fact that Sib actually bans Corrupted Keep, I'm not too sure why, just due to the fact that ZenAku's not really bothered about that. His best maps are Awoken and Deep Embrace, and he's got them both. So with those 2 maps, he's going to be quite happy about that. Molten Falls, you know, ZenAku's banned that for Sib straight away. I know it's been a while since we've seen Sib in the Pro League, but it's always been one of his best maps. I'm not really too sure if it is now. And the other question is, how much is Sib grinded leading into this? You know, we've seen, I'm sure for you have as well, like we've been watching a lot of scrims and a lot of streams. We've seen Sib a little bit, but how much has he practiced going into this? That's the next question. And that's the problem with ZenAku. He's got already the 2 maps he so desperately required in order to try and take the series. His best maps, so he's very, very lucky. And Tower of Coffee been slighted through.
The interesting thing that you noted was the CK ban. I feel like ZenAku's a player who plays very strong when his rail's hitting, so the fact that that was thrown out is a little interesting to me. I don't know if that's just an oversight or if, you know, Sib doesn't mind going toe-to-toe, rail-to-rail with ZenAku, but I feel like ZenAku, if his rail is hitting, he has an infinitely higher chance of winning just because he plays so well off that rail, kind of hit and chip and run damage and then going in, and that's kind of what he bases his game off of. Not completely, of course his rockets LG are very strong, but his rail is kind of his foundation. So interesting ban there, but I feel like this set's going to be fantastic and might go all the way. We'll see.
All right. Well, we won't make chat and viewers wait any longer. 40 and Lethal, I'm going to leave it all up to you. This is our last challengers match of day 1 and of the stage 1 finals, the best of 5. Take it away, gentlemen.
Lethal, here we are again. Welcome. It feels like it's been 30 seconds since we got to cast together, but it's always a pleasure, never a chore. How are you feeling?
I'm still sweating from the last series, mate. I'm not going to lie. Like, that last series was just ridiculous. Are we going to see even more an absurd series? Yeah, we probably will. You know, we haven't seen, you know, every time we've casted together, it's always been map 5, map 3. We're going to see another map 5. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me at this moment in time. It wouldn't surprise me at all in the slightest. We all love a map 5. We all love a map 3 anyway. So, do you know what? Let's try and see it again. And Sib, will we see him back in the Pro League again? ZenAku, will we see him keep his spot? ZenAku's been playing on and off, and we can never tell what style he wants to play. Sometimes it's very methodical. He likes to, you know, be a bit more cautious on the decisions he makes. And then the other times where he's just over-aggressive. But Sib, if you give him that first map, he's this kind of player who will thrive on that momentum. He hasn't got Molten Falls, but I'm hoping that he doesn't really worry too much about that.
Yeah, I heard the chime. We're going to be getting into it shortly. Just patience, my dears. But show your support in chat, whether it's Sib or ZenAku. Let's see who you guys got as we're going to get into map number 1. And again, I hope it goes all 5 because we all want more Quake. Stage 1 finals day 1 has already been nuts. Lots of upsets. We will see if ZenAku can defend his place in the Quake Pro League or if Sib will claw his way back in. And it all comes down to this, Lethal. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. This is it. Map number 1 is going down shortly.
Indeed, Sib versus ZenAku. We've seen it before. Will it be the same outcome? That's going to be an entirely different story, as we are going to start off with Sib. See what he can do here. It's been a while since we've seen him. We know how great of a player he is. ZenAku's already got a very large stack. See what Sib can do here.
Large stacks like a rapper, and just like that, ZenAku gets in there and picks his pocket, takes a little bit of that stack away. Sib gets forced down to the heavy. It's going to be up in 5 seconds. Is ZenAku going to be able to deal damage? And there he is, just the very sight and sound of him makes Sib double back towards the Mega. Gets a little bit of damage as well, and the peeker right in ZenAku's face as he wanted to double peek and try and get a little bit of damage, and Sib was like, I will have none of that, sir.
He certainly won't indeed. He's just playing it patiently here, just to see exactly where ZenAku is. He knows he's still above him. We have to be very cautious now as Sib is going to be flying through, going for the courtyard, going to go to get that light. We can see where he wants to go next. It's going to be very difficult for Sib to try and execute this. ZenAku, it really does depend on what style he's playing, like I mentioned in that pre-show. He's waiting to see if he goes for the courtyard light. Gets the first rail. Very important one as well, trying to keep him at bay. It looks like if ZenAku is going to go for that flank, it looks like he decided to actually back off in the end, but it doesn't matter, as Sib has also done the exact same thing.
Waiting at the top of that jump pad, just praying that Sib goes up. There's the drop. There's a great rocket pineapple combo. That's going to leave Sib on 100, and now because of the heavy 100. But ZenAku doing a great job railing from that broken wall area as well. And another one's ZenAku is dishing up some damage, and there's the first frag. He's just going off with that rail.
I think we know what kind of ZenAku we've got here. One of the good things, even if it's the first couple of minutes, but he needs to try and tone things down a bit. Sib knows exactly what he's like. He's played against him plenty of times before. What can he do next? Again, gets that light in the courtyard. Waiting for him to come up the bounce pad if he can, but it looks like ZenAku's decided to at least flank all the way round bottom mid to the eye instead. And that was a shame, because if ZenAku went up that jump pad, Sib would have said hello with the LG, and it could have been curtains for that frag and tied things up. But Sib is still waiting patiently for that heavy.
Waiting maybe too patiently here, as ZenAku has all the time in the world to come back. That rail's going to make him think twice, and ZenAku is going to concede after that as Sib stands his ground and earns this heavy. And that's definitely going to help his cause in getting back into this game. Only down 1 frag here, but needs to try and chip and run as best he can, especially on this Mega. It looks like he's going to advance. There's one lone rocket, no damage, and the peeker comes out just to clear out and make sure there's no shenanigans. And so Sib back in control rather cleanly. Well done to him, but still lacking some weapons. He needs to get some rockets, maybe a little bit of tri-bolt, but he's opting not to, and he just wants to try and keep the pressure up and make sure that this heavy goes his way.
A lot of mind games here, even though the items are segregated. Sib finally looking to go for that Mega after getting the heavy. Didn't really get to contest it much there. You missed shots. ZenAku does have the upper hand in terms of stack. Will be flanking round, dropping straight down into the heavy area, hits the first rail, but also to the ZenAku, both a very similar stack, but ZenAku isn't railable, but he will be after that peeker, decides to back away as Sib doesn't want to take the risk, and now needs to decide exactly how he wants to go about this, because ZenAku will be the one getting the heavy, and Sib, is he going to stay around to get this Mega? We'll have to see.
Dude, both players were railable. I'm always so clinched when that happens, Lethal. I swear if I had some cola, I would have made diamonds. ZenAku's still up by 1. Sib will get the Mega and a fantastic rail shot as he falls off onto the 50 shard to help that stack. Might have barely, I don't think he spotted him out here, as I think ZenAku dropped to heavy, but that could have been a little bit of an LG trap right there from ZenAku. Dropping down to the heavy, he's going to be able to get that. Rather uncontested, but the audio cue is fantastic on this map, so hopefully Sib has that in his mind and he could track the timing.
Patience here though, he managed to get the Mega after all that. We can see if he can get the ring around, but he doesn't. Decides to prioritize that light, perfectly understandable. Both on a very similar stack. Not too much has happened here. A lot of action, but not a lot of frags. 1-0 still in favor of ZenAku. As both his plays, it means so much to him to either keep their Pro League spot or to regain it. As now there's only 5 minutes left on the clock. As now Sib gets the Mega, tries to see if he can find out if ZenAku is going to go into that courtyard for the light, but he doesn't need to. He's going to be pushing here. Could this be the second frag on the board? He's coming down to 66 HP. ZenAku's looking to see if he can try and push in, takes out the peeker as well, and somehow Sib gets out of that. Very, very lucky. ZenAku wondering if he's actually dropped down, but he hasn't, but will pick up the heavy for himself.
ZenAku just doing such a good job landing the pineapples he needs to, landing the rails he needs to. He's only shooting about 26% rail, which isn't good, but everything he has hit has been the rail to keep Sib out from pushing and trying to LG and finish off the frag. So ZenAku will have such a big stack now, especially if he can get in on this heavy. There's a good rail, but Sib takes one in return, almost gets another one. ZenAku, as he wants to add to the frag lead, if he can get 2-0, the way this game is going, that just might seal it. The heavy will go to ZenAku. Mega's going to be up shortly after. Sib's going to try and get this 50 shard and make his way back. There's the peeker. There's the rail. Ooh, big damage here. Can he find the angle now? 61 HP. Sib doesn't risk his life for it, as ZenAku will claim that Mega. And now you kind of start eyeing the clock more and more. I know it's only 1-0. But lethal, if ZenAku keeps playing this defensive play, keeps getting on these items and hitting these clutch rails and pineapples, it could be it. But this is a bad position for him to be in. He does hit the rail, and that's going to leave Sib bleeding internally. 35 HP after the health bubble pickup. He's going to be forced into the courtyard. Is ZenAku going to have the read to track him down? He only grabs the armor, doesn't go for the bubbles. It would waste too much time to go around that brick wall area. And instead, he hits a great rail on ZenAku, almost catching him off guard as ZenAku looked like he was looking towards that double bubble out there.
If Sib was 2 or 3 frags behind, he would have gone for that rail. Because he knows that with ruins, it can be very difficult, especially with a large stack, even trying to make any kind of comeback. There's only one down still has plenty of time to make something happen. ZenAku had a considerable amount of control over the last few minutes. Taking a lot of damage there. He knows he's going to go for the light. It's a little bit predictable. And ZenAku finally, after such a huge amount of time, increases his lead. And when he go for it again, he's so unlucky. Bit predictable again, going straight for the rail on spawn. He knew that he's going to spawn under other light armor, and the chance of him going for the rail first over the LG is quite high. And ZenAku, look at this. Already got 2 more fragged, and he's still got such a huge stack. Sib needs to try and get away if he can. A couple of missed rails, very fortunate for Sib. But the damage has been done. 2.5 minutes left here. It looks like it could be a 4-0 if he gets the last rail. No, he doesn't. Prioritizes the Mega and has found him anyway. He's going to go for one more flank to see if he can find him. Misses the rail again. The pineapples come out. Don't do too much, but ZenAku is the one who has to also back away here as he gets to heavy. But that's such a shame. Sib was looking to hopefully contest that heavy, but he just couldn't.
And Sib hitting great rails. ZenAku finally hitting one as well. And I'd love to see ZenAku switch to MG after some of these rails, because he is connecting, but he kind of gambles it all. He could have had a frag out in the courtyard earlier if he just swapped to MG, but now stacks about even. Mega will go to ZenAku. As Master ZenAku, less than 2 minutes away from taking this first map, does eat another rail. Sib smells blood. Stack is still pretty big for ZenAku, and the heavy's going to go, but Sib is going to commit to this. There's the LG. It's pretty good. The rockets from ZenAku not on point, but that one is right in the breadbasket. 1:30 left. ZenAku is weak, and Sib has to push to try and get this refrag immediately. Catches him out near the eyeball. This should be a frag, and Zen's just going to try and eat as much clock as he can. He has to go down here. There's no way that Sib can let this go, but he does a good job of getting about 10 seconds off the clock. And now it's a matter of time. Horrible spawn for ZenAku. This should be another frag for Sib as the LG comes in. The pineapple will land. 45 HP, but the rocket buries him. 13 HP left. Little over a minute for Sib. He's got to play this Mega, but there he is. Is he going to go down? And he does. The nail gun from ZenAku takes him down 5-2 with a minute left.
I feel like that wasn't the wrong play. I think that was the right play. He just could have done it just a tiny bit sooner. He needed to get something going. And if he actually got that Mega, there was still a chance that he could have got that frag as well. But sadly for him, he knew it wasn't a mistake. He knew it was the right decision. It just did not pay off. He just didn't get that Mega in the nick of time, which is a bit of a shame. You could see from the head shake as well. He knew he made the right play. It just didn't come out in his favor. But now he's got to try and do anything he can, get some high risk, high reward plays. Not going to happen. ZenAku was clearly expecting that. Already got gone straight through. ZenAku's increasing lead 8-2. And that's going to be all she wrote, as the first map will go in favor of ZenAku.
And this is a big statement from ZenAku, not just the map win to get momentum, but also saying, you know what, I have the Strog tattoo. I feel like Strog is my champion. How dare you pick him? I don't know that that's what he's thinking. I'm just assuming. But that is a big first map for ZenAku to defend his spot, well on his way. Sib didn't really play that poorly. He just kind of played into ZenAku's game, going rail for rail. And again, as we said before, if ZenAku establishes those rails, he doesn't hit the highest percentages. He hits the ones where you're trying to aggress, you're trying to close the gap, and he'll just pop you with 90 damage and stop you dead in your tracks. And we saw that time and time again in this map, and I think it paid off big for ZenAku.
Yeah, I don't really feel like Sib made any awful plays or bad plays. I think he played perfectly fine. He still played quite strong. It was like consistent, but not to a high level. You saw with some of the items, he contested them a little bit too late. Like, even if there's a few seconds left, ZenAku was already there, like 5 to 10 seconds preparation preparing to actually try and stop him from pushing through with the rockets or trying to get him in a narrow corridor. Because you know what it's like for the Mega. If you've got the rocket side, and it's very easy to try and keep them at bay if they're on that top mid side. And for the heavy, of course, if you're there first, you may get the first rail or first rocket shot. I just feel like ZenAku was just a bit more prepared for the items going into it. Now it's kind of like a good example there as Civ was dropping down quite late. But I think Civ's going to know the mistakes he's made. It's only something minor. I think overall he played well. ZenAku just a little bit more prepared, that was all.
I mean, yeah, it's just a matter of shaking it off and just mental reset going to the next map, which will be Deep Embrace. And we're going to see Clutch versus Scale. Some thick boys coming out as we take a look at the stats. Again, big win for ZenAku. He's going to need that momentum going into this. Again, trying to defend his Quake Pro League spot. This is a relegation match, best of 5. Sib trying to claw his way back into the league, while ZenAku just wants to be like, no, I'm going to stay. I'm good here.
You're not wrong indeed. Look at the damage dealt. Very, very similar. It was even if the rail was 49% in comparison to ZenAku's 31. And you were absolutely right about his rail game and how he actually uses it. It's just effective when it actually matters. Good LG too. But that was just the first map. We still got potentially 4 more to go. But you can see even from the damage dealt, the map presence is very, very similar. Not really too much to say apart. They both had a very similar style. I'm just happy to see that ZenAku's been more aggressive and a bit more assertive compared to what we actually saw in the Pro League.
He had a little more stack to work with. Once he got some items under the belt, he can kind of take those rail for rail shots and say, you know what, even if you hit your rail, I'll tank more damage than you can dish out. And if I hit mine, I'll end up on top. So he wasn't afraid to do that. Sib, again, I don't think it was necessarily bad play. I think he more played into ZenAku's hand, which we don't want to see that. Sib is pretty good at being aggressive, kind of setting traps. And if he could play his game on the second map, I think this goes 1-1. And then, you know, it's essentially a mental reset once you tie it up. But it's all on Sib right now to kind of set the tone on this map. Deep Embrace, again, it could snowball out of control. You got 2 big champions as well, so the stack off the spawn is going to be hard to kind of overcome and get those frags. Refrags could happen, especially if you do a ton of damage on the way out. I think this should be a slugfest. I'm looking forward to like a 36 to 35 frag game. Wishful thinking, Lethal? I don't know. It's almost Christmas.
It's a bit optimistic.
Just give me this, please. We'll see.
Maybe Santa will give you a 70 frag game. You never know. What do you reckon?
We'll see. Well, maybe if I sit on your lap, I can get what I want. We'll see. I don't know. But we'll get into it shortly. I heard the ding, and that's always a good sign for map number 2. Again, Clutch versus Scale. Thick boys, Lethal. Thick boys here. Sib looking to tie it up. 1 apiece for the series. If ZenAku goes up 2-0, the light will be dimming on Sib's opportunity to get back into the Quake Pro League.
And he will indeed. Clutch. First time I've seen a Clutch actually on Deep Embrace, but we are going to be starting off with Scale Bearer, aka Sib, to see what he's up to. Looks like we'll be going straight through to get the nail gun. Go for the heavy just a little bit late, just delay things further so he can segregate the items and hopefully get the mega first. Sib still hanging around the heavy, waiting to see what ZenAku's motives are. He realizes that he's still top mid, still got a ball rush in his back pocket. But if he wants to try and at least contest a mega, he needs to go now. And looks like it could be a little bit too late because it's coming up now and he may have to stay around and wait for the next heavy.
Very patient play from Sib, just lining up a rail, almost hits a second. And ZenAku has to be careful. He can't just really fly around corners like that, especially when he's as big as a barn. That Astrovan just getting dented with those rails. And Sib, if he keeps just playing patient, line of sight, rail game, I think this might go his way early. ZenAku wants to probably close the gap, play a little shield rocket game. But Sib doing a good job so far of keeping distance, playing rail. Almost gets a little bit of rocket damage. There's the bull rush, just a boop, little beep boop. As ZenAku has car insurance, so that didn't hurt too bad. But now the shield is down, and that's going to be a big sign for Sib to play more aggressive.
Yeah, Sib's job is to bait out that shield. When he has done, he's in a great spot to be counter-aggressive and make some kind of move. He's only on 40 HP. He needs to reheal a little bit to force out this next engagement as he's still got the height advantage. The rails have been phenomenal. Even though guys have got such a huge hitbox, the rails are just looking fantastic. The angles have been very well held. Mega is coming up in the next second. I don't think he'll have enough time to contest the heavy 2. But he'll at least try and beat a pain in the backside for ZenAku. Is already pushing straight through. Not sure what happened there. Bit of a weird weapon switch. He should have gone back for the rockets, but only stayed with the LG, and ZenAku is more than ready for him to try and chase him down.
Yeah, ZenAku loves a fight like that. Let me pop my shield and have rockets ready. Ties it at 1. Here's that Buzz trying to track his opponent right now. ZenAku keeping high ground, which is very, very important on this map. Only dropping for the Mega. Going right back up here. So he's going to have to concede the heavy and just look for damage on the way out. A little bit of a tickle. Is Sib looking the wrong way. Can't land the flick rail, but never mind. Up and over the top. Sib with a fantastic rail. Returned quickly by ZenAku. There's another one too, and another one. ZenAku popping the shield. This is going to be it. The Bull Rush comes out to steal away the 225s. I like that play a lot. But again, Sib is a little bit too weak to try and aggress, but he knows the shield is down, and this is where he has to try and put on the pressure. So if there's a way that he could bait out the shield a little bit quicker and not take damage, this will be a lot easier for Sib. But ZenAku doing a great job of putting out so much damage. There's a great rail. Can he find another one? ZenAku returns one. Both players extremely weak here, about even stacks after that armor pickup. Somehow ZenAku just peeks around the corner, steals those bubbles away, and gets a rail around the corner. Sib on 25 HP, grabs a 50 shard. 3 minutes in, ZenAku potential to extend the lead, and Sib almost took that jump pad. You heard that buzz right underneath him. ZenAku phases him out and grabs that Mega. Looking to extend the lead as players will trade items.
ZenAku hasn't used the shield to its full potential many times, but he will do now. Suicide doing it. That's probably the worst time for me to say that. Maybe I jinxed him, maybe I didn't. I do not know. As ZenAku, probably the worst time to use it. Think of the devil. He does have the rocket. This could be his time to push in. He has the stack advantage. Gone from heavy. Heavy's up in the next second. It looks like Sib is like, actually, you know what? I was going to contest it, but I'm just going to head back and go straight for that Mega.
Barely missing out on that rail angle, and that's really unfortunate for ZenAku. Can't really handle a stick shift, it looks like, as he crashes that car. 0 to 1 now, still very doable. Again, this is the slowest I feel like we've ever seen Deep Embrace. 2 big boys going at it. I was expecting kind of a bit of a brouhaha, Lethal, but this is also fine as the rail comes out from Sib. Again, ZenAku just kind of peeking around corners willy-nilly here. He does have a rail to fight back with as he grabs the heavy, and again, Sib will grab the Mega, so the items are split between the 2 players. Shield is up, and that's going to be important here, and there it is, popped in the Bull Rush immediately to get away. That's a good job to bait that out. Now he can kind of reassess where he wants to attack, and here it is. It looks like dropping down through the drive-through window. A little bit of LG, almost hits the conversion on the rail. Oh, and ZenAku ready, lying in wait with that rail to make sure that Sib doesn't get anywhere near him since the shield is down. Good rail from Sib as he picks up the Mega. ZenAku shield in 10. Bull Rush not a priority for Sib as he's not really going for the time biles. That's a fantastic rail, knowing he's weak, trying to hit the drop shot. Just missing out there. He is going to have Bull Rush back almost in the nick of time, but ZenAku lands the rockets and he ties it back at 1. He's so incredibly weak though, Lethal. Is he going to go for the LG? Oh, he does. The LG is going to be enough as he goes for the rail. And that is unfortunate.
Well, I can tell you now, 40, we're not going to get 70 frags. We're lucky to get 3 at the moment as we're halfway through this second map. Expected a lot more aggression. I've expected ZenAku to be in Sib's face on a lot more occasions than this with that shield. But of course, Sib with that Bull Rush to get away. Bait it, he has to, but this is his chance to try and get away if he wants to. Still has the Bull Rush, decides to hold it. So at least he's still got the Bull Rush in his back pocket and try to put ZenAku away. On the old rush, the LG comes through. He did so much damage. But then again, with the Bull Rush, he's not going to take much 2 damage to take. It's not enough. First rail comes in. He's going to go for 2 for 2. Yes, he does. Will he get the third? Yes, he does. 3 for 3. Well done, Sib. Great way to try and extend his lead.
Such a huge gamble, betting on himself. perfect rail, and he has the Mega so he could stack back up, and that was huge, and it may be the map. That may decide it right here. ZenAku with a great rail, needs to aggress, eats a lot of tri-ball, bit of a speed bump on the way towards Sib as he grabs that lower 50. Sib now trying to play the hit and run game, play a little defensive. He's going to grab the lower armor shard. Bull rushes back as well, and ZenAku on the hunt, just missing out on a rail. Shield is up if he wants to get up close and personal. There's a good rail. There's the bull rush. Will he land the LG? The shield comes out, but it's not enough. 41 HP. Sib survives, and just in the nick of time, there's the heavy. And Sib looking to even extend this a little bit more here. He gets caught between the bubbles there, slowing it down. ZenAku, the master of the jump pad, says, no, you shan't take this from me. He chases around the corner. The rockets from Sib, are they enough? ZenAku has more than enough stack to try and get this. Sib hanging by a thread, 12 HP, just eating away at the clock. Needs to be careful with the tele play, and I think he heard him. Gets out in the nick of time, does have bull rush to negate any incoming damage, but he's gonna lay an egg on this Mega. Is it gonna be enough? ZenAku gets there too late, and he misses the rail anyway. This is big for Sib, but 2 rails cuts him down. No armor to his name. ZenAku puts up his second frag.
Scalebearer can make a good counter. But he's all rushing away, but ZenAku is right up on his backside, saying you're not going anywhere. You've already done it on a numerous amount of occasions this map. Now you're just taking the Mickey, but he does get the heavy. He's going to try. Thought about going top mid, decides to back down, get the HP, but he's just waiting to see if they will go for that Mega as well, but it looks like he won't be. He's going to shoot stack. This is a perfect opportunity now, even without the shield. Try and take Sib down. It just manages to get that frag that was so close, but he spawns right next to him on the rail. I don't think he expected him to be there, considering how close he was to the spawn point. But it doesn't matter. Mega is not up for another 12 seconds. He can find every little nick and cranny, any healthfuls of lights he can find. Mega is coming up the next 5 seconds, but now that Sib is prioritizing the heavy, I don't think it'll give enough time to contest it. Will a little bit, but for how much time? Shield has come up. He's already got the Mega. This is the perfect opportunity for ZenAku to tie things up if he's able to. He is on the hunt as Sib is still hanging around bottom mid, waiting to see where ZenAku is going to go. But he's just hanging around that LG top mid area.
And that was a bit, I don't even know, peculiar, I guess, because he just plus forwarded into the Mega, pretty much giving ZenAku an opportunity to take that frag, almost taunting him. 1:15 left, ZenAku couldn't capitalize. He's still looking to close this out as the jump pad's taken. Sib will get out of there. He's up 1 frag. There's a good rail after the Mega pickup. Another one into the bull rush. Is it going to be enough? The rockets won't be enough, and Sib takes a 2 frag lead with a minute left. Still within the realm of possibilities for ZenAku, but infinitely harder. Sib is very weak after that altercation. ZenAku just needs to find him. He has shield as well. And Sib is going to go into hiding now. A little bit of LG on the jump across. As ZenAku just looking for damage. He's going to try and grab this heavy, but 45 seconds left. Great rail from across the map for Sib. Just keeping the damage up the best he can. The Mega's going to be up shortly. There's the shield. There's the pop. There's the rockets. But the Mega goes to Sib, and he takes the jump pad. Somehow ZenAku lands that rail, but he's so weak. Hits another rail, but Sib comes out on top.
That was unreal scenes there. Great way to end this map. Looks like Sib will be equalizing this, depending on what ZenAku can do here. If it's too little too late, he can just bull rush away and not take too much damage. He's got the 50, got the light. He's in a great spot to take this map. 10 seconds left. That was a great way to end things. ZenAku, good comeback though. He didn't really use the shield to its full potential, but then again, Sib always using that bull rush to get away with the speed and the lack of damage per tick you absorb as that scale bearer during the bull rush phase. Very well done by Sib. Nice to see him make a comeback there compared to that first map.
Very, very, very good performance from Sib there to equalize and stop the bleeding, tying the series at 1, kind of getting a reset on everything, saying, all right, let's slow down. Don't want this to spiral out of control. And he played it well. I feel like Scalebearer was the better pick there. They both, of course, were hitting better rails. ZenAku trying to play his game around the rail. It's easier to hit a Scalebearer, but it's also equally easy, if not easier, to hit a clutch. So the rails were out for both players, but yeah, the bull rush utilization was really good. The shield usage, not terrible, but I feel like he popped it a little bit too late sometimes. I mean, it won't completely save you like way back in the day. I don't know if the kiddies remember, but yeah, popping the shield too late with a little stack. The bull rush and the up-close rockets are still melty, so good on Sib tying it at 1. One step closer, Lethal. I feel like we might get 5 maps. What do you say?
Why am I not surprised, eh? Why am I not surprised? But yeah, you're right though. In terms of using their abilities, I kind of feel like ZenAku was using his shield way too early on a few, on a few occasions, not because he panicked for, oh, I better use it now or anything like that. He kind of felt like it was the right time. And I think most players would have actually done the same thing 9 times out of 10, but it's just Sib doing a good job, baiting out the shield, and sometimes didn't even need to use the bull rush to get away. Just perfect reads, perfect gameplay, great way to contest the heavy most of the time. But now it's ZenAku on the back foot, and both of them winning on each other's servers. It's been a bit of a trend this year, Fully.
I agree with Sib on that one. Those rails, it's like, really? 3 for 3 like that? Just hitting everything? But Sib still came out on top. It's okay, Sib. You can shake that off. It's all right.
Yeah, you can tell from his face and from his reactions, it's a little bit similar to Kilson. You just know if he's won that fight or lost it 9 times out of 10. ZenAku not looking too happy there. It was just a shame that he was 5-1 down, brought back 5-4. That's when we kind of knew that ZenAku is realised his mistakes and when he can crack on and rectify what needs to be done. But both of them are just so much frustration on their face in this series. But like you said, Foy, are we going to go to map 5? Do you know what? Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, at this point, I think it may happen. That's a fantastic rail there from Sib as we take a look at the stats for Deep Embrace. Next map up is going to be Koth. Ranger versus Visor. How do you feel about that one? ZenAku is going to be on the Ranger, Visor for Sib. Any thoughts, Lethal, on that matchup?
I'm not too sure if Visor has the slight advantage here in terms of knowing the whereabouts, maybe due to dying minutes, but at least for the Ranger, if you're in a bad spot, maybe feel like going for the heavy and you can at least teleport yourself back up and then try and recuperate. There's a lot of different situations you can do like that. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a weird one. We don't really see Visor versus Ranger much on Tower of Koth, but let's be real, we don't really see much of that map anyway. So I think both these players are going to try and work out exactly what. I think we're going to see a slow game during the first few minutes. We've seen it quite a few times, but it wouldn't surprise me between these two trying to feel each other out here.
I'm really interested. I mean, I say this all the time with Ranger. If ZenAku knows kind of any set pieces, there are orbs that can get you all the way across the map so you can get both items rather quickly. I wonder if Zen has that up his sleeve. Again, Visor's pretty good on any map, especially a map of this size. The vision will be able to give Sib intel and also set up traps and rockets, even if it's rockets to rails, not for the frag, but just for the damage to keep the damage up. I think this one's going to be a close one, but I think you're right. It might be slow-paced. I was a little disappointed at the Deep Embrace pace, but that's okay. These guys are playing to win. They're playing for their spot in the QPL. Who am I to say, okay? I just love 40, 50 frags a game, Lethal. I love a bloodbath, but, hopefully it's a long weekend to Quake ahead of us, so I'm sure it's in store somewhere.
We've got plenty of time. I'm sure we'll be all right. Don't you worry about that, indeed. I'm sure we'll get 70 frags somewhere. I don't know where, but it probably will be on Deep Embrace, but just, in another parallel universe in some other series. We'll find out later on. Like you said, we've still got 3 days of action. We're still on day number 1, and we're only just past the halfway mark here. And between these two, it's a best of 5. We're already going to map number 3, possibly, a 5 mapper. We'll have to see, depending on how these players are going to play things out. But, yeah, I think it's going to be quite slow paced earlier on, depending on the spawns and how they progress further, depending on the weapons in their arsenal. But it's been a great matchup so far. Both of them have always been very close in terms of their skill level, in terms of how they try and push each other. But we are going to start with ZenAku in the map number 3 to see who's going to get the advantage in this series.
ZenAku hears the Visor and now has time on the heavy after picking up the Mega, so that's going to be huge. You can kind of dictate what he wants to do as the items are rather split. There's good rails from both player there. ZenAku wants to get in there. You can just see that he's just itching for a little bit of damage. He's like, a little bit more, a little bit more. But he takes another rail, and now he's going to be extremely weak already on 61 HP as Sib has the superior stack. He has the Mega, and he's going to double back for his heavy as he claimed it the first go-around. So ZenAku, just like that on the back foot, has to play very carefully here.
He will indeed. ZenAku back to his default stack, so he's a little bit safe. But how long for? Look at the items. They're already very segregated. ZenAku needs to try and fight Sib off here for that Mega. If he doesn't, then Sib's going to go straight for the heavy again, and things could get a little bit out of hand. Gives it to him for free. A little bit of a surprise there, but you can see now that he's trying to find out what he's going to do and how he's going to go for it. At least, I was going to say ZenAku, at least he's got the height advantage, but he certainly doesn't anymore. This is the perfect time for Sib to get the first frag, and yes, he does. Sib made a perfect play there. I was actually expecting ZenAku to actually drop down, but Sib, sadly for him, ZenAku got a great spawn on top heavy and managed to at least fight him on the backside. ZenAku got the height advantage again. Mega's popping shortly. He will be picking that up, and he's going to be contesting the heavy straight afterwards. It's looking very good now, considering the circumstances over the last 30 seconds.
ZenAku did just such immense amounts of damage on the fight previous, and that enabled him to get the machine gun kill on the respawn. Fortunate spawn as well, but without those 2 direct rockets, there was no way he was getting that frag. So unfortunate for Sib, but fantastic from ZenAku to maximize damage on his way out. Tied at 1, 2 minutes in. Smells something. Is he going to miss it? He does. ZenAku barely getting the jump on Sib. A bit of a messy fight, a little bit of LG. Sib hanging on too close to the edge. And he broke, unfortunately, as ZenAku gets his second frag and gets the mega. Nice little rocket jump up here. As he's going to deny the upper 50. Never mind, doesn't want it. He's going to make his way on to the heavy. And using that Ranger passive is going to be huge. Again, damage reduction on rocket jumps. Why not use that fully, especially on a map this gigantic?
I feel like ZenAku's very comfortable in this map. From his movement and how he's displaying such great pace. Looking for Sib. Found Sib, speak of the devil, going straight through. Would he be able to clean things up? Misses the first rail. He's going to try and go for the second. He's not going to love the LG. The orb saves his backside. Luckily for him, he had it in his back pocket. If he didn't, surely it would be raining down with the LG, but he has to back away again. Try and re-heal. Maybe not the best route to go. I don't think he expected Sib just to drop down like that. You can see ZenAku was planning to get that health orb and... Oh, what a lovely rail! Oh, Sib just doing God's work here. But as I say that, Sib done another great LG to rail. He is on the warpath. He is on the hunt here. It looks like he's going to just calm things down a bit here. Just try and restack again. But ZenAku, few shotgun shots, not too much damage. Out of range, waiting for him to go through. Oh, another cheeky rail there, but sadly has missed it, and both of them finally on a very similar stack.
I'm in awe of that rail from Sib. That was absolutely nuts. Still down a frag. The mega is up in front of him, as is the vision. The world his oyster, as he has all the information now. Waiting patiently, seeing if Zen is going to go for it, and Master ZenAku says no. I want the heavy. So items split. Great rail from Sib from up above. Gonna reposition, almost gets the attempt at another one as Zen goes through the LG corridor, through the telly here. Sib doing a good job of controlling the upper ground. That's a fantastic rail reply from Sib as ZenAku gets first blood on that one. Does have the orb, vision is down for Sib. And ZenAku grabs the 50 shard. Needs to be careful here, almost hits that rail. Wow, that would have been absolutely beautiful. There's so many rail angles that I feel like have not been... Okay, all right, Sib, I see you styling with that nail jump. There's so many rail angles. Sorry, I cut myself off because I'm an idiot. That probably haven't been explored on this map, that it's interesting to see what rail angles players take. So the vision is popped. Sib has all the information. He's going to grab the 50 shard as well. Great rail there from Zen. A little bit earlier, he would have been knocked off the map as he does have superior positioning, but he can't rain down the damage. He hits one,
wow.
But Sib is just returning all of these rails. 3-3, 5 minutes in. Sib doing a good job of getting control back and laying out all this damage. Heavy goes to ZenAku, but at what cost? He's caught out with really nothing. He takes the orb. He has rockets. That's all he needs. But somehow the shotgun just comes up short. Sib electrifying with that LG, gets the frag and takes the lead.
Just couldn't get that trade. I still can't believe the 3-for-3 we saw from Sib. Height disadvantage, only saw the top half of the torso in the head and still managed to take him down as ZenAku's had enough. It's gone straight in, no holds barred. And is now tied things up. He's looking to see where Sib is, knows his exact location now from the nail gun. He's going to go straight round. Gets to heavy, huge stack advantage here. This is ZenAku's opportunity to try and push on through. He was hoping for Sib to teleport through and then maybe orb up. We'll have to see. It looks like he's realised now Sib has actually flanked all the way around. Gets a rail in his back pocket. Got the Unholy Trinity. It's just a matter of how he's going to flank this. Mega is up on the first rail. Going to just at least prioritise the Mega instead. Beautiful rail again. The rails from both of these players have been just ridiculous.
That orb to steal the mega was absolutely huge from ZenAku. The rail was just gravy on top as he takes the lead. Zen playing a little bit slow. Those thick visor thighs, mechanical but loud. As he gives away his information. A little bit of rocket damage returned from Sib as ZenAku goes down. He wants to make sure that he can get in on this mega. Sib doesn't want any part of it. He did have rail to try and chip a little bit, but instead he's going to try and make his way over to the heavy, but he drops to lower while Zen takes the upper route. There's the orb as we've seen again. Doesn't take it this time. A little bit of a distraction here. Zen doing a good job of trying to get the orb as much as he can. He saw those little nail jumps. He wants to collect all the vials he can because that orb is absolutely crucial to his gameplay style right now. 7 minutes in, Lethal, 1 frag lead. This one is tight between these two players.
It's been tight on every single map, and I'm not really too surprised that we've seen a replica from the previous maps, but ZenAku's dropped down. He hasn't made the correct weapon choice, but as I say, that 2 rails comes in. Will he go for the 3rd? Oh, Civ just go around the corner, but he's actually come back again. He's on that rail spawn, misses it. Such a shame, but it's too late anyway. He's not railable. He is now after another great rail on ZenAku. 4 seconds until the next mega comes up, in a perfect position to contest it. Again, items are segregated, going straight for that heavy now. Finds Sib. Sib, rail of his own. Will he go for the 2nd? He's trying to get this. Oh, the orb. Perfect orb. Gets the heavy too to add insult to injury. Has the height advantage. Hello, Sib. Gone straight through and just managed to get away. But as I say that, the LG looking good for ZenAku, but the stacks are now back to the same.
Yeah, ZenAku hitting him with the Hadu there. Good rail from Sib. He's hitting some fantastic rails on the drive-by from ZenAku. 6-4. Sib has the stack lead at 25. This should be a frag for him as he jumps the defensive rockets. Pretty good, but no cigar, as Sib pretty weak. Needs to try and get back to this mega. Is he going to be able to fight for it here? Zen taking his time, and actually he left it. The failed rocket jump from Sib, is this going to cost him? He's going to go back through, but ZenAku's already left. Very fortunate there. Still down a frag, 1:30 left, and now it's going to be a little bit of hide and seek, I imagine, Lethal.
Problem is, piercing sight isn't going to be helping with the hide and seek scenario. But he still knows ZenAku's position. He went up that jump pad, still above the rails, but he just got through anyway. He's even able to get away. Missed the rail. Not really too much of a surprise. That was a very awkward angle, both on the same stack. Similar stack, shall I add? Not anymore, as Sib has taken that rail, gets the mega. So important. That orb has helped him 2 or 3 times now to pick up these items. And Sib has to be on the warpath now. He needs to be on the hunt. Takes the first rail. ZenAku's looking for the 2nd. He is trying to back away, but at the same time trying to make the decision on if he should take this fight. The rocket didn't do too much damage. It only did 36. As ZenAku got the heavy. Not looking too good for Sib here, 40, but still has 40 seconds to play with to make something happen.
35 seconds. He has all the information. There's a little bit of rocket boop, but the rocket from ZenAku is so strong and he actually dire orbs back up. What a play. ZenAku just wants to eat up the time. 25 seconds left. All the pressure on Sib. He's trying to grab some items and resources to work with, but time is ticking. After this heavy, it's go, go, go time for Sib. He just needs to find him. ZenAku playing hide and seek, waiting at the very tippy top of the map here. Patiently, 10 seconds left. Sib finds him, but there's a defensive rocket, and just like that, ZenAku's gone. And Sib, I think he calls it. I think he knows. That is it, and that will go to ZenAku. Map number 3 in his pocket, up 2-1 in the series, and 1 step closer to defending his spot in the Quake Pro League.
Both his players have been so close in every way, like, you know, back and forth rails. The item control was, I think, was more in favour of one of the players didn't actually catch it in the end, but the damage dealt just overall, so close. You can't really tell them apart, and that's why we said we would be surprised when to a map number 5, but we'll have to see. But ZenAku just barely takes that. They found his location, but it's just too little too late. Now, I kind of feel like when there's a minute left, especially on Koth, it's quite easy, not just to hide away, but just figure out ways to try and get away. But that Ranger play, the orb earlier, when he's pretending to drop down and then go back up again, sadly, Sib fell for that, but I think 9 times out of 10, most people would, because you just got to hope that he hasn't got that orb in his back pocket. But well played from Sib, but ZenAku is the one who takes that map number 3. But Sib still isn't out yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he does try and take this map number 4.
Oh, it's not over yet. We're going to go into Awoken. It's going to be BJ versus Galena. BJ for ZenAku, Galena for Sib. But again, this map was so close, and I feel like it just came down to a couple item steals, in all honesty, where ZenAku is dead to rights near the mega, but the orb bails him out. He orbs onto it, gets out, even sometimes gets an additional rail on the way out, leaving Sib extremely weak. And I think the Dire Orb was the defining factor here for ZenAku's victory, using it almost to perfection. Not necessarily damage all the time, sometimes stealing, sometimes just getting away, sometimes redirecting and repositioning. And that's exactly what you get with Ranger. You get that diversity of how you want to use the orb. And also just his rocket jump passive kind of came in clutch sometimes for him to get height advantage and just get away.
You saw the reaction on Sib's face earlier after that rail. He was sitting there thinking, okay, oh, it's just happening again. But it doesn't matter, it's all said and done already. 52% rail in favor of ZenAku. Is looking very, very strong, making sure to keep himself away from Sib throughout a lot of that game. But some great art of control, some great plays, picking them up too. That's map number 3 done. Gonna head into map number 4 shortly. And I think we both expected this to be very close between both of these players. It was the last time they fought against each other, and I'm not surprised it's pretty much a repeat, a replica of what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, again, really, really close. I think it's going to go all 5. I think Sib is going to dig deep and grab this 4th map, or at least make it extremely difficult for Zen to run away with it. But again, Awoken, BJ versus Galena. I think this favors Galena just a little bit. That totem economy is just hard to deal with if Sib can get that overstack. I mean, the dual wield is just so situational. You corner him maybe near the heavy, great. Maybe near the sewer down by that drive-through kind of window even, but we'll see. If Sib kind of opens himself up to those traps, then yes, ZenAku can absolutely dual wield and take advantage, but I think it's going to come down to totems and using them effectively and getting that overstack for Sib.
Yeah, it's the overstack he needs to be careful with. As long as he's keeping him on his toes and lapping the map and checking all areas, being very aware and cautious of the totems, then he should be fine. But if he's hovering, like making sure he stays top mid the whole game or trying to catch him off guard, the only times he should be pushing those totems is when he's got a stack advantage and when he should be okay. But, you know, it's very rare that you do get 3 totems up, especially on a map like Awoken. But it depends how many hourglasses he picks up. It depends how much he's been aware over the course of the entire map. It depends where he's actually been holding. You know, there's a lot of indication, there's a lot of scenarios as to what he could do, but we'll have to see as Sib will be starting off on his POV and find out if he can come back and tie things up and move us into a map number 5.
Is this going to be the end of the line for Sib? ZenAku would like nothing more here as we're live and look. Cheeky? Okay, there's one. I like it. But a tri-bolt as the rocket splashes just in front of Sib. It's just a warning shot. That rail unfortunately missed. Misses with the second one, but ZenAku hits his. Heavy safely behind Sib right now. Good return rail from Sib as well.
Sib is waiting patiently for now. Has all the weapons in his arsenal finally. Just sitting with that top mid control. Knows where ZenAku is. Was hoping to go for a cheeky flank there, but decided to back away. Looking to get that first rail. He saw ZenAku there was looking for that totem. Oh, what a rail. First rail. That was ridiculous. Great angle there too. Pushes him with the LG straight after the Mega, but does have a totem in his back pocket, but it's not going to do enough damage. Surely he's not going to take this. No, he's not. ZenAku is the one who gets the first frag on the board.
ZenAku just so aggressive, smells blood, and you saw him sniffing it out. He was like, I know there's got to be a totem somewhere around here. Sib needs to be careful pushing through the T-Con. That's a fantastic rail, and that actually gets him positioning on the Mega a bit crazy, but it pays off as Sib earns that Mega with that push. Has 2 totems down, make that 1. There's the dual wield, is it going to be enough? Sib goes for a bit of a swim. ZenAku using that dual wield, getting him off the map, and that's 2 frags up for the Australian.
Damage 25, 18, and 98 there. Perfect opportunity for ZenAku to try and push in. Trying to get the flank rounds. It managed to get 1 rail. It's so weak here. ZenAku needs to try and push in if he can. Decides to leave him. Prioritize the Mega. Completely understandable. It's just portaled through, but he's going to see if it can catch him off guard in the LG area. But Sib is just too quick to stack for ZenAku. It's getting way out of hand. He's just found one of the totems at least. So the overstack potential will decrease over time, but keeping that top mid control. No, Sibs is doing a very good job, just getting away, making sure he's staying on his toes, making sure he keeps out of ZenAku's way whilst he's got this huge stack, but needs to try and collect these lights if he can. Managed to get one from top mid. 2 rails there. ZenAku's had enough. 3 for 3. Maybe he's going to go for 4 for 4. No, he's not. 4 for 4 for Sib. Boy, we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, those rails were Siblicious. That was absolutely phenomenal from Sib there as he's going to stack another totem. Cheeky, overstack. Now Zen needs to be careful as he goes down the sewers. There it is. He cancels that overstack. He's going to get chased through the jump pad, and the LG is going to be just enough to keep Sib off his tail for the time being. But the rocket jump into rail combo, Sib says absolutely not. Give me that second frag. Ties it up.
I just can't believe it. ZenAku has such a huge stack. The fact that Sib went 4 for 4 is unreal. The 3 for 3 was incredible on Tower of Koth with that huge disadvantage from the height. But 4 for 4 on a map like this, ridiculous. The Sib is going to push straight in, cleans things up. Things were looking so dire for Sib, but now it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. As ZenAku, finally, after 4 minutes of play, is the one trailing behind by 1 frag. Still early days here. Sib's just doing a very good job making sure that ZenAku is kept on his toes, but as I said, the rocket really didn't help him too much as the dual wield from the LG cleans Sib no problem and ties things up 3-all.
The dual wield hit him with the Elmers, put the beat on him, and that's so unfortunate. The rocket pop actually gave him the height to get that, but just like that, Sib says, I have an LG as well. I only need 1. ZenAku needs to be careful. He's on a very low stack here, almost runs into that totem, and he's like, oh, what are you doing here? But that gives Sib enough time to go up the jump pad and shotgun him. Down goes the totem next to the rail, and Sib again on top.
Took a bit of time. ZenAku finally managed to find those totems. Still only at the halfway stage. Sib just flying in, hoping to see what he can do here, try and give some potential to himself. ZenAku's the one who's picked up that mega heavy coming up in the next 10 seconds. ZenAku just repositioning himself to see where Sib is coming from and how he's going to try and approach this heavy. But he's looking to see, but it looks like he may have just given it away. He has done. A little bit of a surprise there. Didn't really contest it too much. But now he's going to try and force himself to get these lights. Not too sure if the top mid light is still there. It is. But he's not going to go for that yet. He's asking for trouble, pushing top mid in case ZenAku is standing there waiting for him.
Mega goes to ZenAku, and he denies that upper 50 with that rocket jump. I think he heard the jump pad near LG, and he's going to take this opportunity to try and suss out where the totems are. Sib down below needs to be careful here. There's a clean mega pickup for the time being, and down goes the totem, so well done. As that should be ZenAku's mission, as you said. Again, when he has the stack and he has the time between items, he needs to try and hunt down those totems and make sure there's no shenanigans with overstack. That rocket almost dead on 33 HP. Sib is going to want that one back. More direct next time. You gotta try and maximize damage when you can, but stack for ZenAku. Totem in Sib's pocket, just lying in wait. Begging ZenAku to come around the corner. The rail will miss, and there's the dual wield, and not like this. This is the trap that ZenAku wants. He can't hit the damage. The LG, the totem goes down, but Sib will weather the storm, and that's gonna be big as he keeps the 1 frag lead.
That was so close. He's not even going to have an overstack for at least a couple minutes, even if it gets to that point in this map. But Sib trying to hold back here, but ZenAku's had some great rail shots here, some drive-bys. Going to be looking for one more. Sib trying to at least catch him through that telly. Not going to happen, but he's going to push him with the LG. ZenAku was the one with the much bigger stack, and Sib is the one who manages to take that engagement. Absurd. And now he needs to try and restack. He needs to drop that totem down at some point. The megas come up in the next 5 seconds. He can't wait that long. The dual wield MG comes through for ZenAku, but will he be able to do anything? The tri-bolt comes in, but it's just not quick enough. As he gets the mega, heavy is coming up in the next 10 seconds. Sib in a great position to try and contest that when possible.
Sib just perfect defense right there, having the right weapon out, saying if you're gonna push, you're gonna die. Forcing ZenAku off. He doesn't have dual wield now. He can't fight for this heavy as he's so weak. There's the jump rail right across his shoulder. So close, but Sib has such a massive stack now. ZenAku has to be careful. He's gonna push in, LG on LG. Sib wisely backs away. He knows Mega's up. He can take a little bit more of a fight if he wants. Tri-bolt to the face, but the Mega pickup will be afterwards. Totem in the pocket as well. And I don't want to get too cheesy, but Sib is absolutely shredding ZenAku with his LG.
This isn't the outcome we expected, considering the very strong start ZenAku had. Just daring for him to go top mid. Backs away to the LG area. Sib knows his exact location. Got a great stack. Totem in the back pocket. Mega coming up now. and Heavy in the next 20 seconds. Still got plenty of time. Using that tri-bolt very effectively. Did a little bit of damage there. Got the info he needs. Knowing that ZenAku is just chilling there top mid. But ZenAku just needs to try and work on what he wants to do next. It's been a real struggle for him. A lot of low frag games, especially on the maps we didn't expect. Deep Embrace earlier was a little bit of a surprise. Even on Awoken, this is actually one of ZenAku's better maps. And for him to lose this, the momentum's definitely not going to be in his favour if it goes to a map number 5. But we've still got 90 seconds here. Is Sib waiting to take that Mega, and he's going to take it with the totem in his back pocket still.
Yeah, and this is looking really bad for Zen simply because going to Blood Covenant map number 5, Nyx versus Eisen is not in his favor at all. There's a tickle from Sib as he wants to take this fight. Has the totem in the pocket, has the rocket in his pocket now as he gently places it within ZenAku. And that is going to send him packing. Heavy goes to Sib, still has the totem in his pocket in case he wants to just pop a fight, and it looks like he does. He wants to get one more frag, and he wants to end it with a minute left. ZenAku comes barreling through the banana. Rockets raging out from Sib, and somehow nothing landing. Never mind, there's a huge one. Misses with the rail, but he still has totem. Shotgun around the corner. ZenAku has to push this. There's one, and the totem's not enough to shotgun around the corner. Gives ZenAku the frag. He's only down by 1 with 40 seconds. He catches him out of the rockets, but the shotgun now strong enough. And Sib, wow, that could have been real bad, real fast. ZenAku has to be relentless with this fight. The machine gun raging now. Dual wield, but Sib is just going to try and chunk the time. He's very, very weak. He just needs to survive. 30 seconds, 2 frags up. ZenAku needs to find the frag however he can.
Oh, he's got to be very careful here. Sib trying to do everything he can to stay alive. 15 seconds left. If he takes him out now and gets a bad spawn, then that's where he's going to tie things up. ZenAku's just charging in. I don't think it's going to be enough time. And if he takes him down here, 53 HP, ZenAku finally gets taken down. Just adding insult to injury there. Sib winning map number 4. Another series 40 going to the final map of the series.
My heart, man. I got to stop eating fast food. This is rough. This is rough, Lethal. But I kind of felt like maybe Sib had a little something. So he did. The totems actually didn't play at all into it. So I was completely wrong. That was just pure aim and kind of traps from Sib. Maybe a little bit of misplays. I mean, some of the frags that ZenAku got were actually unfortunate rocket bounces that Sib was probably like, I don't believe that just happened to me, as we saw over at Heavy. Nevertheless, though, Sib comes out on top, sends us to a map number 5, and this is where I fear for ZenAku, because the matchup is Eisen for ZenAku, Nyx for Sib, and I just do not feel like that is in ZenAku's favor at all.
Yeah, that 4 for 4 Sib got. If it's not in the top play, I don't know what will. Just remarkable stuff from him. Very patient as well, great angles. And the fact that ZenAku was 2-0 up and he had such a huge stack. That's a momentum killer. If there isn't one, like, you know, that was just ridiculous. ZenAku must have been so annoyed, so frustrated, losing such an advantage like that. But for ZenAku for Sib just to come out like that and get all those rails off is just ridiculous. I thought after that point where it's 2-0 up, huge stack advantage, great map control, holding top mid, making sure that Sib can't go anywhere. I thought that was it. I was like, okay, map number 5, there's a good chance it's not on the cards. But were we wrong? Yes, we were. It's just unbelievable. But between these two, map number 5, I'm not really surprised here. What can ZenAku do here? His great Pro League life is on the line. And Sib could be walking back into the Pro League here.
He's clawing his way back. I think pressure's on ZenAku in the back of his head. He's like, man, I was up 2-1. I really needed that map. And I don't know if he has a little something up his sleeve, again, for the Eisen versus Nyx matchup on Blood Covenant. I don't know if it's a mispick. Too late now. It's set in stone, and ZenAku will be fighting for his life in the Quake Pro League on the last map. Sib knocking on the door again, trying to get his re-entry into the Quake Pro League. And chat, if you're not enjoying the day, I don't know what you're doing. Lock in your predictions, make some noise. This is going the full 5, and that's exactly what we wanted.
I don't think there's been a series we haven't done a map 3 or 5 years. Literally every single time, but you know, I'm not complaining. It's all good. You saw the damage dealt again. 167 damage difference between the two. Look at the scorelines. Map number 1, 8-2 in favour of ZenAku. As ZenAku played that very well, very strong, very patient with all the plays he made. 7-5 on Deep Embrace. 40 didn't get his 70 frags, but 12, you know, we've seen better, we've seen worse. Tower of Koth, 6-5, very close. You saw ZenAku managed to get out of trouble there on numerous occasions towards the final dying minutes. And Awoken, ZenAku had a huge advantage at the start. Sadly gave it away, but what can you do against Sib's 4 for 4 on that rail? It all goes down to this on Blood Covenant with the Knicks versus Eisen. Now 40. What do you reckon? Who do you reckon's gonna go through the Pro League?
I'm not jinxing anybody. Sorry. No, I'm out. This is between the players. Not jinxing anybody. Chat, you lock in your predictions however you want. This is coming to map number 5. This is for the Quake Pro League, whether they stay or go. I'm not saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing, Lethal.
I'm not going to say anything either because they've just both been so tight-knit between the two, you can't really tell them apart here. The fact that Sib just made such a great comeback there is just phenomenal. It's very rare to see, and it's nice to see him make such great plays. And both of them are going to be, you know, so disheartened if one of these loses, especially in a map number 5 to keep this Pro League spot. But let's find out. Will ZenAku be able to keep his spot? Or will Sib reclaim it, as it has been a few stages since he has been in the Pro League? And we are going to start off with Sib to see what he's up to, as he's going to go for those rockets, takes down the first turret, and has that Ghost Walk in his back pocket if he ever so desperately decides to get out of the way.
A little bit of rocket damage, a lot of machine gun damage. I like that switch a lot from Sib, trying to maximize damage and punish ZenAku. Setting the tone early, making sure that he realizes nothing's going to be free. And again, the picks here, you tend to lean towards Sib. The verticality and the wall jumping from Nyx lends itself beautifully to this map. ZenAku trying to hit some rails. He does hit one, misses with the second one. There's the wall jump, and just like that, he's closed in. And the turret just gets dealt with rather quickly. So it's like ZenAku's playing a champ where the ability doesn't really even help him so much. Again, maybe I stand corrected later. We'll see. Civ is already weak, down to 100 HP. There's the rail around the corner. ZenAku will miss. Mega's not going to be up until just in the nick of time. But these ZenAku rails are just absolutely right between the eyes, sending Civ packing 20 HP, and he's still hurting. With the hurting and the machine gun, ZenAku goes up 1 frag early.
The worst thing about that is the fact that for Sib, the light armor was already gone, and ZenAku might have actually dropped down, and when he saw the light armor gone, assuming he's already taken that route and may have taken it. So a little bit unlucky. It's still early days. It's already been a minute and a half. Goes up straight with that LG, but ZenAku, brilliant play, so patient with his LG shot. Knew that he may pop up. Maybe a bit overzealous for Sib. But again, like I said, still early days. ZenAku has the turret in his back pocket. Is going to see where Sib is going to go next. He's hanging around that nail area to see where ZenAku is going to flank from, but manages to get away. ZenAku gets heavy for free.
Yeah, it's that jump. I love that fake jump there, using the Nyx wall jump to go back down, get a little bit of damage there. Kind of putting ZenAku on notice, like, I have this ability. I can do that. Great rail there as Timmy's backing up his partner in crime. ZenAku's still up 2 frags. He's going to grab the upper 50 shard as well. Here's the jump pad. Knows that Sib is at rockets, but which path is he going to take? Sib peeks out. Fantastic rail shot there, right as the heavy is picked up from ZenAku.
ZenAku still waiting patiently there around this rocket area, waiting for Sib to make the first move. Sib has been a little bit cautious here. Goes for the rockets. The turret is going to be the shield for ZenAku, just waiting for Sib to push on through, but he can't though. He can't contest this heavy. He hasn't got the stack at all. ZenAku's already down below with the light, but it doesn't matter, as Sib managed to gain it from the other one. Great rails. ZenAku's just not missing any rails here. Looking at the damage in the counter so far, hit 50% of his rails so far. It was like a lot more, but he's been very cost efficient with these rails. But where's he going to go? He's managed to get away in the end. He's got another turret in his back pocket, putting it in the same place as before. But ZenAku 3-0 up.
ZenAku doing a great job. Again, these rails, getting so much mileage out of him. He's not hitting the highest percentage. 50% ain't bad, though. He's hitting the ones that matter, as we've seen him do time and time again. Sib, no armor to his name, needs to be careful now. Does deal well with the turret. He jumps over with the LG, the wall jump. There's the turret, and there's a rocket straight into his chest. And Sib should be able to convert this, and down goes ZenAku. What a rail.
Just feel like Sib always has an answer. Every soon as you see ZenAku with a great rail or A bunch of them. Sib just answers back straight away, but he needs to try and hit him here for that mega. He's already missed 2, missed a 3rd. He needs to try and at least hit 1. He manages to do so. At least he gets a little bit of chip damage done, gets a 2nd. He gets the 3rd. Looks like he won't. ZenAku just hanging around a little bit, going for that light. Managed to get 3 in a row. Pushes in with the shotgun, but that rocket's going to keep him at bay just a tad here. And will he hit so important rail? Yes, he does. HP still not looking too bad for Sib, but at least that way he managed to get the light. But he's going to ghost walk straight into him, go straight past. I don't think ZenAku even realizes he will now, but can he take him down? He ties things up. 40, this is just absolute madness. It looks so good for ZenAku. He's going to be kicking himself, giving away such a decent lead.
Sib is just looking so strong, gaining momentum here, 3-3. And yeah, you can't help but feel like ZenAku let something slip away, but Sib, when he's just firing off those rails, hitting everything, he's jumped Sib from like 35 to 55%, heating up. Now he can kind of play slow. Now that there's no deficit, it's kind of a reset. He has the Ghost Walk in his pocket. He can go back to kind of laying traps and trying to decide when he wants to take a fight rather than chasing. So really, really well done from Sib here. Again, this is map number 5. Winner will stay or enter the Quake Pro League, chat. So absolutely mental right now. Less than 5 minutes in as Sib grabs that heavy. Rocket jumps up. Rail raging from both players. And good coverage there, using the nail gun to make sure that turret doesn't bother Sib if he tries to aggress on this. Trying to find that opening rail. ZenAku doubles back, says it doesn't right. Triples back. He's like, you know, this doesn't feel right. Let me go back.
Went back numerous times. All these mind games. ZenAku isn't really too sure where to position himself. He's probably a little bit surprised that Sib hasn't pushed, but at the same time, he probably expects him just to sit back and tempt fate. Oh, it is taken
Sib's
down.
so smart. He's like, you know, you've put this turret here multiple times. Fires the rocket, gets the damage, able to suss that out rather quickly, and that's going to be huge there. He doesn't want to get caught off guard with any traps with Timmy. Good rail there from ZenAku opening it up. Items synced up now, so Sib is just going to concede Mega, grab the heavy. I thought maybe he was going to try and deal some damage on the Mega. Beautiful nail jump again, and a wall jump as well, and this is going to be it. He's going to try and aggress off this. There's the tele play. ZenAku's nowhere to be found, but wow, Sib stringing together these rails, making it look so easy, and, you know, traversing the map rather well. I feel like he's played Nyx before.
He might have done. He might have done. It's getting so close. The
so
items,
huge.
exactly. The items are still not segregated at all. This is a very standard play of Blood Covenant. Oh, it could be a little bit different here. Sib isn't taking the risk. He decides to back away with that Ghost Walk. ZenAku, very healthy in terms of stack. But the turret is giving away his position, and you're right earlier, 40. He has placed that turret in the same place 4 or 5 times now. And that's the 4th time he's placed it in the same position. He did see it, but he got a little bit distracted. He's only on 9 HP. He hasn't got a Ghost Walk in his back pocket either. ZenAku's actually made the assumption he went up top. He dropped down from that light area. ZenAku finally has got a 1 frag lead. Got the Mega to his name, and is going on the hunt to see if it can continue this advantage. Misses the first rail. Looking to see where Sib goes. Still underneath him directly, but has left him be for now.
Rail in Sib's hands now. This could be bad. He has to fight the turret and Eisen. There's the Ghost Walk. What is ZenAku going to do? Wow, that's a brilliant play from Sib there. Taking out the turret as he comes back into the game, so to speak, from the Shadow Realm. Mega will go to ZenAku. 2 minutes left, Lethal. This is making diamonds again. What can I say? ZenAku trying to peek over the corner, find a rail here. He's just tempting fate. Shoulder peeks, trying to bait out a rail from Sib. Nothing doing. He grabs the heavy. Sib makes his way through the nail room. And ZenAku trying to maintain high ground, and that's exactly what he needs. Minute 40 left. Can he hold on to his spot in the Quake Pro League?
It's looking good so far. Sib taking another rail. ZenAku knows he needs to be on point with as much damage as he can to keep him back, but Sib, a rail of his own. Lucky for him, the light is still there, available for him to take. Good rocket, did a small amount of damage, but it could be enough to change the outcome. ZenAku's pulled all the way back. That turret there is very good in terms of placement, but the LG comes out for ZenAku. Sib, both of them on a very similar stack. The Ghost Walk comes in, just barely misses 80 HP. ZenAku's heart must be racing here, and Sib is trying to do everything he can to bring this back as he's got the Mega and 40. We've only got 50 seconds left on the clock as they're going for the congestion of the Heavy. And ZenAku's doing everything he can to do a huge amount of damage. Takes a round. He's available though. Just managed to get away. He's on 100 HP. So needs to take at least one before being taken down. 63. He's available. He is on the hunt. He's trying to get away. Gets the light. It's only on 14 here. What is ZenAku going to do? He actually takes down Sib. That could be the frag winner here, 40.
What a rail from ZenAku as Sib was looking for the angle, trying to chase down. 25 seconds left, 2 frags lead. Now the Australia just has to hug the ropes. He just wants to be alone. Leave me alone, Sib. As Sib is on the hunt, looking for anything he can. Timmy the Turret just being an annoyance, a pest right there. And as the time ticks down, it looks like lethal. ZenAku has done it. He's defended his spot in the Quake Pro League. It took 5 maps, but he did it. He's here to stay. He's not going anywhere.
That was unbelievable. I was so worried for ZenAku when us on at 14 HP. He was available on so many occasions and just barely made it through. And Sib, he had to push from that rail spot. It's a very common angle. It's a common spot to push, but he had to do it. If he hit it, that could have been a completely different story. But congratulations to ZenAku. That's definitely one way to hold your Pro League spot, A40.
Just way to put on a show. Wheat, I know you don't eat fast food as much as I do, but your heart's got to be palpitating after that one. How do you feel, buddy? Let's get you back in here.
That game was fantastic. I mean, I'm a Sib fan. Chat is definitely Sib fans. ZenAku, congratulations! Like that is incredible. But that game was awesome. I mean, the comeback from Sib. In chat, they were calling him the nail gun ballerina. I really like that. But there was just so much to like about that. There were 3 or 4 just frags and awesome plays. I love the ghost walk in between ZenAku and the turret. That was great. I mean, this is exactly what you hope to get out of every single Quake match, and I'm actually a little freaking mad. I after watching Sib play, like I would have loved to seen him continue in the QPL, but
sounds like you bet some chat points, huh, Weed? I'm just saying.
I did not bet any chat points because, like you, apparently everyone that I bet points on will lose. So I just stopped.
We're just cursed, man.
Yeah, it was. I've got cursed chat point betting. That was incredible. It was just absolutely a great matchup. That by far my favorite challengers matchup that we saw. I know Sirius versus TNZ went 5 games, but not 5 games like that. That was sick.
That was just ridiculous.
Just so close.
Yeah, look at the
and congrats to ZenAku, right? I know, from where he plays and how much time he's put into this. I can't say enough awesome things about both of these players. Damn.
That one rail
sets it up
chase the
again,
outcome.
right?
Stupid. Really, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
ZenAku, the expression on his face, he's going to be so relieved after that. I'm sure him and Avek are having a big hug there anyway, just to congratulate him on getting that Pro League spot back. But that was one way to keep it in place. Jesus.
And it's just insane because it sets it up for the potential again. I mean, Sib's not going anywhere. He's going to go through the Challenger again. Yep. He's a very good player, so he's probably going to make it. Do we have a timeline where he plays ZenAku again to try and get into the Pro League? And is ZenAku becoming Sib's end boss? I mean, that's something to consider moving forward in the future. But big shouts to ZenAku for holding his ground. It took all 5 maps. Sib played his heart out. It was so close. But ZenAku just had that little extra something, and I'm a man of my word, Wheat. So I think I got to do this thing. I've never done this thing
I mean,
before,
I was going to say, you got a little something too, right?
I got a little something here, and it's no disrespect to Sib, but I made a bet. I got to do this thing. This is going to be terrible and messy, so pardon me, and then we'll just go to break, right?
Great. Yes. And so what 40 Lions is doing is in celebration of ZenAku. This is a shoey, the first ever shoey here on the QPL. That's right. Beer in the shoe. Drink it up, 40 Lions.
And he hasn't even made too much of a mess. I don't know either. I'm just letting him crack on and see if he spills it on himself.
Good. I think I'm going to get pretty sure I'm going to get athlete's breath. I shouldn't have ran in these last night. That was a mistake. I'm just getting a different run a day in my life.
Congratulations to
Yeah,
ZenAku
champagne
for
of
staying
victory.
in the QPL, and congratulations for Sib for putting on what is absolutely a memorable series in that matchup versus ZenAku. That was the last Challengers matchup for the QPL Stage 1 Finals. We're going to take a break. Everyone needs a break after that one. When we come back, it is time for a round of 16 continued. 3 more games left in the day. Coming up next, it's Chain versus CNZ. Don't go away. We'll be right back.